Hello, my children, and welcome back to Longbox of the Damned! Are you ready for 31 days of terror, of ghosts and goblins? Well, why don't we start things off with a twist on an old favorite of ours, Marvel Zombies. We have seen so many angles of zombified superheroes before with Marvel Zombies, and while it has had its ups and downs, it still manages to stay fresh even when the shambling corpses aren't. Black, White and Blood is an anthology, my children. 3 tales per issue, on top of which we are limited to the 3 colors of black, white and red. The scariest colors there are! What? Did you think it was a coincidence I look like this? I'm just saying, you don't see many horror stories where somebody said, I think mauve and puce would be spooky. The anthology stories are not tied to any specific version of Marvel Zombies we've seen. Sometimes the zombies are mindless, sometimes they're the classic, intelligent but hungry zombies we've seen before. Can we have a bit of a mixture of the two for our first tale? Undefeated. A zombified daredevil has been taken prisoner by a group of former criminals that now use him for gladiatorial combat, fighting and slaughtering other zombies that they pit him up against, then tossing him back into a pit to feed him, people betting on the fights. It clearly has been quite a long time for them, since they speak of the cape and costume crowd as if they were a bizarre relic, more annoying than anything else. But still, clearly the former Matt Murdock can't remember his previous life, thinking of so many who thanked him for saving them, both legally and extra-legally. However, a few of his captors are quickly killed, and he is given a chance to do some more good by an unlikely source. The Punisher, who says that he can either kill him now, or turn him into a walking bomb. The choice is his, and he chooses the latter, silently walking into his next match and remaining undefeated, destroying his captors and their horrific arena. Always nice to end on top. On top of everything, since you're blown into so many pieces. Next we have Hope. Spider-Man is holding off hordes and hordes of zombies at the Daily Bugle. He clings to hope as they keep on coming, trying to eat the few remaining staffers at the newspaper who have not been consumed or turned. He thinks of his Aunt May. He thinks of Mary Jane Watson. But hope is dwindling, only briefly rekindling when he finally gets a response from the Avengers, saying they're on their way. He is forced to kill zombified Betty Brant and Robbie Robertson, and he is hit from behind by none other than the undead Aunt May, who proclaims that she wants to find her nephew and thinks Spider-Man did something to him. He unmasks as she continues to attack, the revelation of who he is finally getting her to stop and beg to be killed. Hope is lost and Spidey kills her. J. Jonah Jameson comes out of the hiding spot to encourage him to come with them, but it's too late. Even Spidey has succumbed to the plague and tells him to run for his life. Good advice, but considering how many cigars he goes through per day, I don't expect that to be for very long. And finally we have Deliverance. Now here's someone I don't think we've ever checked in on during one of these stories. Moon Knight! It's been almost a year since the zombie outbreak, and Moon Knight, guided by the Egyptian god Khonshu, has been working to save the lives of any humans still left. Moon Knight is reluctant to trust Khonshu even now, but it soon becomes clear, as a zombified Iron Man appears, that there are forces out there taking advantage of the situation. Iron Man can see Khonshu, something reserved only for those granted sight to see the gods. And indeed, he was given that sight by the Egyptian god of death, Anubis, who plans to use the virus to reshape reality in his own image. The zombified Iron Man proves too much for Moon Knight, who begins to turn, and finally accepts being Khonshu's vessel utterly and completely. While he becomes a zombie, he is empowered by the god of the moon to fight back and destroy the armored undead. In the name of the moon, he'll eat you! And indeed, he has the power to consume other zombies for fuel. Anubis retreats for now, but his agents are still out there, Khonshu ready to remold Moon Knight into the perfect counter to them. as long as he's willing to listen to his guidance. Just as you will listen to mine, my children. This was a smaller beginning to the Longbox than we've had in previous years, I admit, but I think we can agree that it's still just as effective, especially as it lives up to the Marvel Zombie's name.